You ever get that weird feeling? You're just thinking about something, maybe you mention it to a friend, and then boom, it's right there in an ad on your screen. It feels, it feels a little like magic, doesn't it? Or maybe even a little creepy. So today, let's pull back the curtain and find out how the internet actually seems to read your mind.
It all starts in places we visit every day, like Amazon. You check out one item and instantly you get that whole row of, hey, people who bought this also bought this. It's basically the digital version of a super helpful shopkeeper who knows exactly what you'll want next.
And it's definitely not just about shopping. It's in the endless scroll of your social media feed, right? Those posts and accounts that Instagram suggests, they aren't random at all. They're tailor-made to keep you hooked, and it's all based on every single thing you've ever liked, watched, or even just paused on for a second too long.
And of course, it's in our entertainment. From the movies Netflix lines up for you, to the games the PlayStation Store puts right on the front page. These suggestions are all designed to be a perfect match for your taste. This digital mind reading, it's literally everywhere.
Okay, so that brings us to the big question, right? How does it actually know what you're going to like? Sometimes even before you do. Well, it's not magic. It's a really powerful and honestly fascinating piece of technology.
The official name for this tech is a recommender system, and a great way to think about it is like a digital matchmaker, always working behind the scenes, trying to connect you with things, products, movies, songs that you're going to love.
So, if we get a little more formal, here's the definition. It's a software agent that figures out your interests and then makes suggestions. The key word here is elicit. It's designed to draw out what you like, whether you tell it directly or not.
Now, what's really interesting here is the goal. You might think it's just to get you to buy more stuff, but it's also about solving a very human problem, choice overload. The internet has millions of options, and these systems are built to help you find the good stuff without getting totally overwhelmed.
So, if these systems are matchmakers, what are they using to make these perfect matches? Well, the answer is data. Your data, to be specific. Every click, every purchase, every movie you rate, it all becomes part of your digital footprint.
And at the very heart of all this is something called the user item matrix. I know it sounds super technical, but just picture a giant cosmic spreadsheet. And on this spreadsheet, every single user is mapped to every single item, and it just keeps track of how they feel about each other.
Here's a really stripped-down version. Each row is a person, right? And each column is an item, a product, a song, whatever. The cells get filled in based on whether that person liked or disliked that item. This simple grid, believe it or not, is the bedrock for almost everything that comes next.
So, how do all those little cells get filled in? Well, it happens in two main ways. The first is explicit ratings. That's when you straight up tell the system what you think, like giving a movie 5 stars. But what's way more common are implicit ratings. This is where the system just watches your behavior, what you click on, what you buy, how long you watch a video, and infers what you like from your actions.
Okay, so we've got the data. Now for the real secret sauce. The most common technique here is called collaborative filtering. And this, my friends, is where the mind-reading magic really happens.
At its core, the idea is incredibly simple and very, very human. It basically just asks the question, what do people like me also like? It's the digital version of asking a friend who has the same taste in music for a band recommendation.
And this is that collaborative part in action. The system takes your unique profile, your digital footprint, and it sifts through all the data from the entire community to find patterns. It's basically looking for your digital twins, other people out there whose tastes are almost identical to yours.
Now this breaks down into two main flavors. User-based is all about finding people like you. It says, hey, people who also love those weird indie movies you watch, they all love this new TV show. Then there's item-based, which is about finding things like the ones you like. You know that classic line, customers who bought this also bought? That's pure classic item-based filtering.
All right, let's make this real with an example. Meet Alice. The system knows her ratings for 4 items, but we want to figure out if she's going to like item 5, which she has never seen before. That big question mark, that's the puzzle the algorithm needs to solve.
So this is the million-dollar question. How do we take all this data we have and turn it into an actual, educated guess for what goes in that empty box?
Well, using that user-based approach, the system does 3 simple things. First, it scans that giant matrix to find people who rated things in a similar way to Alice. And in our little example, user 2 and user 3 are her closest matches. Second, it looks at how they rated item 5. We can see they both rated it pretty highly, a 5 and a 4. So for the last step, the system just uses their ratings to predict that, yeah, Alice is probably going to love it too. It's simple logic, but when you do it at a massive scale, it is unbelievably powerful. But it's not a perfect system. Of course not. It has weaknesses, a kind of glitch in the matrix where the whole thing can fall apart. See, this entire system, this whole magic trick, is built on having a history of what users like. So what happens when that history just isn't there?
This is what's known in the industry as the cold start problem. Think of it like trying to start a car engine on a freezing day. The system runs on data, but when it's cold, there's just nothing to go on.
And this problem has two sides. For new users, if you've never rated anything, the system has no clue who your digital twins are. It can't find people like you. And for new items, if no one has ever rated that brand new movie or book, the system has absolutely no basis to recommend it to anyone, even if it might be a perfect match for them.
So now you know the trick behind the magic. You know about the giant spreadsheet being built with every click, and the collaborative filtering whirring away just beneath the surface of your screen. The only question left is, now that you know how it all works, will it change the way you click?